Hello guys and welcome to my new video. So today I'm going to be covering the things that happened in the last week. I'll be talking about the changes that happened to balanced druids and assassination rogues. There's been a couple of changes that are associated with the rotation, with the legendary priority. These are kind of major changes to these classes, even though they might not seem so. So I'll be covering that, but the first thing that I want to talk about is the legitimate legendary catch-up system that is finally implemented by Blizzard. They only took the whole expansion. So in 7.35 PTR, which I've been checking out as well, they have introduced a way. So the same guy who sells or who converts your 50 Wakening Essences and lets you upgrade your legendary to 1000 item level, the same guy is now selling a Purified Titan Essence for 175 Wakening Essences. So Wakening Essences, like I mentioned before, is the same currency used to upgrade your legendaries, and now for 175 of those you will be able to buy a token. With this token you will get a random legendary based on your specialization. So in my video I'm using a Holy Paladin, and you get a random legendary. Now there's always a chance, if you're missing a lot of legendaries, you get that Zephyrus, which is most likely will not make you happy unless like you're a Shadow Priest, but this is really great. First of all, this is a great catch-up system for your alts, for your mains, if your main doesn't have that many legendaries. Now, the numbers might change. It says 175 Wakening Essence. That can always change. The currency can change. The ways of acquiring it can change. We've seen this before. Blizzard has always done this, but the fact that they're actually trying to implement a system like this means that there is going to be something that's legitimately going to help you to get those legendaries, especially if you're coming back to the game. If you saw on Taurus and you're like, I want to come back to the game, and you're like, I'm missing loads of legendaries and I don't want to grind that much, and this is going to be great. When I say grind that much, this system in itself is a progress bar. It's a progress bar that lets you know how long is left until you get the legendary. And this is all I really wanted. I wanted to know for a fact, how long does it take me to get the next legendary? Now, let's look at the numbers of the Wakening Essences. So it's actually funny because there's been a comment on Wowhead as well, mentioning how to get Wakening Essence. So you can see from your weekly mythic plus chest, you get like 20 from the on Taurus dungeon, on Taurus raid, doesn't matter, LF4, normal, heroic, or mythic, you get 3 to 6 per boss. From your daily quests you get 4 to 6, so you have to start doing the daily quests again. From daily heroic dungeon 5, and don't forget the PvP weekly quests, the 2 vs 2, 3 vs 3, and the rated BGs. They give you 7 each. So a lot of the PvE guys, they don't really want to do the PvP, so they kind of forget. But this is going to be an incentive for you to try all aspects on World of Warcraft. So it's funny because this post mentions that if you do everything correctly, if you work hard, in a week you can acquire generally around 175 essences per week. That's the general consensus. You get 175 on average. So this post was it's an older post, but it's funny to see that Blizzard actually implemented the exact same number of 175 Wakening Essences. So Blizzard is telling you, if you work hard, you will get 1 legendary per week. If you work hard, you will get legendary per week. So I've seen this before. A lot of my guildmates and things like that, they'll be doing all the content all the time and they'll get legendary per week or per 2 weeks. But the whole point of not knowing was the biggest pain. There's no incentive. If you don't know when you're gonna get something, there's no incentive for you to do it. Unless you really want it. So having this progress bar and having 1 legendary per week if you do everything correctly is really amazing. I would have loved to see this happening like really early on in the expansion. I know at the start of the expansion it was cool to get a random super powerful item. I remember for the first 2 or 3 or 4 legendaries that I got, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm getting these items. I'm super lucky, I'm super unlucky, and things like that. But that novelty wore off really quickly. As time progressed, everyone started to hate the whole legendary system. And soon, especially if you got bad legendaries for your newly created alt, you were like, I don't even want to play this alt. I don't want to do dungeons. I don't want to do Mythic Plus with this alt. I know that I'm not performing to my best. Even though I'm playing well, I know I could do better, and I'm restricted by this RNG system. Now you get the progress bar. Of course there's going to be RNG. Of course, I don't want this Purified Titan Essence to give you the legendary, to let you select the legendary that you want. There still should be some sense of RNG, because that's what MMO games are all about. If you could get everything that you wanted, MMO games would lose value and you won't play MMO games. That's usually the way it works, and usually the way the MMO games are built around RNG. So this minimal amount of RNG and this progress bar is really awesome. I can't wait for 7.35 now. This is the biggest change that this is the best change for me, at least. So I know for the people who have alts and things like that, you probably, let's say my alt has 2 legendaries, 3 legendaries, and he's been doing like on Taurus or whatever. I accumulated around 200 Wakening Essences already, because I didn't have to upgrade any legendaries. So I know for a lot of people out there who play their alts on semi-regular basis, we'll be able to get 1 or 2 legendaries straight off the bat, without even farming that much. If you're gonna farm a lot, starting from now on, there's no reason to get 3 or even more. So, really, really awesome change. Really thumbs up from me. Finally, my alts can get something better than Zephyr's. Finally, hopefully. So let's look at the other changes that happened to the 2 specific classes. So there's been a Boomkin changes in Assassination rogues or Sin rogues. So Boomkin balance changes: Wax and Vein, artifact ability, damage bonus per stack reduced to 6% was 25%. So this is basically the core ability. So before I'm actually covering this, the change of these 2 classes is to represent the ridiculous rotation that's appearing to them. Balanced Druid filler spell for AoE situations was Moonfire. You won't be spamming single target spells, you'll be spamming Moonfire. And it felt kind of ridiculous to be doing that, to the same extent that in the previous patches for Balanced Druid, the same thing was kind of happening. Starfall was creeping into the single target rotation. Using an AoE spell on single target rotation feels really, really weird. So Blizzard has nerfed that and didn't allow it to happen. But now Blizzard saw that Moonfire is becoming the filler ability to use in AoE situations, and it just feels broken. It's like a meme. It's like a meme that's coming up. So what they did with this change is basically destroyed the Moonfire spam build. Moonfire spam build is no longer there. A lot of people have actually been recommending Stellar Flare. Stellar Flare as one of your main core talents for AoE build for 2 to 3 targets. And in terms of legendaries, Radiant Moonlight, the Moon Cape, is becoming one of the really strong legendaries, especially when paired up with Solo the Archdruid for AoE situations. So there's been a lot of changes. In terms of nerfs or whatever, this is actually a small single target buff for the fights which are pure single target, and it's a small nerf to AoE situations. So we're looking at like 2% buff or whatever to single target and around 2% nerf in AoE situations. So it's not the end of the world. It definitely is not the end of the world. So the same exact thing has happened to Assassination rogues. Final Knives was becoming a part of your single target rotation instead of Mutilate. And again, it feels weird using an AoE ability, or theoretically an AoE ability for single target. So what Blizzard has done, they basically nerfed and buffed similar specific abilities and basically allowed Assassination rogues for single target to use Mutilated again. Overall, for Assassination rogues, it's a small gain in single target, it's a small loss in AoE situations, and Mutilate is used for single target. So the exact same thing. So they did the exact same thing for Balanced Druids and Assassination rogues. They removed the stupid parts of the rotation that didn't feel right. They seen a small gain in single target and they saw a small loss in AoE. Not the end of the world. A lot of people will say that this might be a good changes. Let me know how you feel about the Balanced Druid changes. Let me know how you feel about the Assassination rogue changes, and let me know how you feel about this whole legendary situation. I am super excited. This is the best change that I'm like. This is 7.35. I did not see that many changes that I really wanted to explore. This is the biggest one that I want to start like. My advice, Wakening Essence, you probably should start grinding them now. If you want specific legendaries, if you want legendaries for different specs and things like that, start grinding them now. Start doing those heroic dungeons, start doing those daily quests, no matter how boring they are. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.